Good day, and here we have F.E.A.R, or First Encounter Assault Recon, an FPS released in 2005 by Monolith and published by Sierra. Ah, Sierra, how I miss thee. But anyway, F.E.A.R is an interesting FPS. It tries to be a mixture of first-person action with horror elements. And it both kind of works and kind of falls flat. Seemingly, the game was created by two people. One person wanted a horror FPS, and one person wanted a sci-fi FPS. And then they sort of mixed the two together to varying results. Now, the game can be scary, but these scary elements are mainly just relegated to freak-out moments. It's where your character kind of freaks out and sees disturbing imagery. That doesn't really have that much of an impact on the game itself. Sure, during some of these freak-out moments, you can be attacked, but it's very rare. And really, it just sort of comes out of nowhere. And I guess that would be scary, but it comes off as more annoying. Because you don't know which freak-out moment will actually have things that can hurt you. Now, another thing going for this game when it comes to horror is the fact that the main villain is a creepy little girl that is basically an eldritch abomination that no one can stop. Even if you detonate a nuke right on top of her, she can just sort of teleport herself out of there. That can be scary, but she doesn't really do anything to you. She just sort of tries to creep you out, I guess. Even though, in theory, she should just be able to vaporize you with her mind. Really, the main enemies you fight in this game are just clone soldiers. See, that's where we're getting into sci-fi FPS territory. You gotta fight clone troopers. And I don't show it here, mainly to avoid spoilers, but yes, you will fight power-armored soldiers. Not really horror-based there, I have to say. Really, first-person shooters today, and when this game came out, just weren't really scary, and I think that's mainly because it's kind of hard to make them scary at this point. First-person shooters are really nothing new. You see, back when they were new, you could actually scare people with them. Doom, for example, we all look at that game as just a run-and-gun FPS, but back when it came out, it was pretty bloody scary because no one had ever seen monsters that realistic before. Quake is another good example. You never saw monsters that realistic before, and you never saw an atmosphere that creepy before. But here, though, it's just another first-person shooter. Oh no, it's a creepy girl who's just walking around. Really, you're not going to be that scared by this game. I suppose if this is your first playthrough and it's late at night, you might get a little scared by it. But really, there's only one or two jump scares that are actually effective, and the atmosphere, while good, just does not convey a sense of creepiness when you're fighting some powered armor with a rocket launcher. It just doesn't work. Now, the graphics for this game are really very good. This was probably one of the best looking games of 2005. Everything is highly detailed, all the enemies look really good, and the enemies actually have good AI. They know how to go to cover, they can actually crouch and crawl under things, and that's really this game's main strength. The AI is very fun to fight. Another aspect of this game that also got rather famous was bullet time. Basically, you can slow down the game and massacre enemies en masse. This, while fun, also decreased the horror factor quite a bit, because basically you're a superhuman fighting an eldritch abomination. Now, if you were just a generic person, maybe that might make the game a little more scary, but when you're a highly trained soldier who's also genetically augmented on top of that, the horror aspect is definitely reduced somewhat. Ultimately, F.E.A.R is a good first-person shooter, but it is definitely not a horror first-person shooter in any way, shape, or form. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do. Primarily because the gameplay is really quite fun and the enemy AI is really quite good. And so, this is John, signing off.